Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Hello, and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your good girl host, Becky Feldman, and I'm so excited for today's bad episode. Well, it's not bad, not bad in a bad in a sexy way. It's because, I meant it. Listen, I'm saying this because today's book is The Good Girl by Nikki Sloane, which is currently $4.99. And I'm just so excited to get back to reviewing, and I'm especially excited about today's guest. I'm the type of person, I have a really hard time making decisions, and I've been having this issue, particularly when the podcast was on hiatus. I've been having an issue about, making decisions when it comes to, what book I want to read. I want to read everything, but then I'm always like, well, do I want to read this right now? And then I'm like, what does right now mean? And then, it's like, well, how am I feeling? And then it's just, I get so exhausted and then I fall asleep. So that's why I'm always seeking out recommendations from all sorts of places. I think there's a real art and a real sense of dedication to people who can cultivate lists of recommendations for all sorts of readers, who understand all sorts of readers, and are able to keep up with how fast people consume books. And I have one of those greats with me today. My guest today is Leslie Murphy, the podcaster and blogger behind She Reads Romance Books, the online destination for finding the best romance books worth reading. And we had such a great time reviewing this book. I had such a great time talking with her. So please enjoy this review of The Good Girl. Hello, Leslie. Welcome to Too Stupid to Live.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you. We've had a back and forth for a while, and I'm so excited that you're finally here because you have your blog, She Reads Romance Books, which has been my go-to, for finding recommendations for people for a little while now.
Oh, it makes me so happy. Thanks.
Yeah. Yay. It's so nice because, I feel like in this day and age, when you finish a book or a series, there's that, mourning period, dare I say, and you're like, I need something to fulfill this hole in my soul.
I know the feeling, yes.
And so that's why I'm like, oh, it's so great that you have such a comprehensive site, with all of these different types of books that you recommend if you're still on so-and-so kick, let's say.
That's kind of how I got started, to be honest. I mean, fell down the rabbit hole and became completely obsessed with reading romance. But then I'd finish a book or a series, like you said, and I'd be like, gosh, I loved that, aspect of this book. I want more of it. And so I'd be like looking all around. What are some books that are just like it? And so I'd start just creating these lists on my own. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not the only one who would really like looking at these lists. So why not put them up on mine?
Mhm. And like just from like a visual perspective, it's nice to see very simple list. What is it about lists for you that you think is like the key way to like, get content out?
One, I think it's just an easy and quick way to digest the information, right? You can just quickly scan, be like, okay, I know the main gist of this list. Let me go through any ones I've already seen, or, ooh, I know this author. I'm going to take a quick look and let me just read what it's quickly about, and then maybe see why Leslie recommends it, her little, 2 cents. So I just found that that's sort of the easiest way. And that's how I like to, I guess, get information. Time is short, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm
Oh
juggling
yeah.
all the balls. Like I want the information, get it to me. Um, so that's sort of just how lists came to be, and it's probably my type A personality too. That
Well, we need it. We need that because
yes, yes. And I'm always paranoid now. Like as I get older, I'm like, I'm gonna forget something, right? And if I hear a book, I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure I write that down so I don't forget it. And so it just adds to here's my TBR list and or this list. So it just helps quiet my mind. Be like, no book is going to be forgotten. It's all good.
yeah, I love that. No book forgotten. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is such a weird question, but like, it, you have a lot of books on your lists and you read every single one, or do you get like recommendations from other readers, other people in like the romance community?
Good question. A lot of my earlier lists, I did. I read every single one, and most of them now, I still really do read all of them. I'm very particular about my list. I'm not just gonna like honestly throw up any book, and maybe that's why things take so much time for me sometimes to get up a new one because I want to make sure I'm throwing out something good. But for some of them, like my alien romance book list, for example, like I'll probably say, here are my favorites that I've read, but here's some more that are either on my TBR list or that I've heard are good if you want to read more. So I don't claim to necessarily read all of them or say these are the best, but I kind of make that notation in the list too.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a science to figuring out like, because it's almost like you're creating like an algorithm in a way. Like it's just like I was like comparing your site to like my Netflix account and it's like or my HBO Max account or something, and it's like, oh, if you like this, you'll like that, and it's like a robot's doing that or whatever. But I do think there's something similar there, just to keep people engaged.
Yeah, well, I guess too, I take pride, like I'm not artificial intelligence. I
No,
mean,
she's real, everyone. I can
right,
see
I'm
her.
real. Like you could probably ask, and people probably do, and that kind of pisses me off too. Like just send me out a list and here you go. But yeah, I like to cultivate my list, but and it feels good when readers are say like, "Oh, I really like your recommendations because you read books similar to me." So I don't really know how it works, this crazy algorithm maybe that I figured out, but I guess I just have this certain type that I like, but it's sort of across all different kinds, and um, that's just how I pick them. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
love
question.
it. I love
Yeah.
it because, like, anyway, what specific tropes do you like? Like, are you very particular when it comes to your type of books? Are you not? Do you read everything? Do you read only certain things? This is for fun, like, not like if an author asks you to do a review. I'm talking about like solely fun
Right, for
reading.
fun. No, I definitely have my favorites for sure. Go-to is definitely like an enemies to lovers. I just love the tension and how that builds up in the chemistry. That's always super fun. Friends to lovers, I like. It can be hit or miss for me sometimes. Same with second chance romance. This past year, I've really gotten into like forced proximity. Those are always kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And fake fake relationships, fake dating, I always love too, because it's like, okay, you're going into this faking, but we know it's gonna be real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like the grumpy sunshine, that's become super popular. Big fan of those. Um, I don't really love the like secret baby because it's like really, come on, like I don't think that's
Yeah,
fair. There's something wrong with that one.
yeah.
Um, and I kind of steer. away from, I mean, I'll read dark romance, but I steer away from like the really heavy hitters where there's violence against women or children and stuff like that.
Sure,
I
sure.
don't really enjoy those.
Right, of course, yeah. So you're like kind of in the realm of like contemporary romance, let's say. Like, do you like do you read historical? Do you read sci-fi? What other subgenres of romance do you like?
I love historical romance,
Mhm.
actually. I probably don't read it as much as contemporary, but definitely love that sort of subgenre. And I'm definitely a convert to fantasy, romantasy, popping up. I can totally get immersed into a world. And if it's a good series, I don't mind that it lasts for like books on end.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, let's wrap this up because I want that. But for the good ones, like I'm in it for the full series. Those are probably my three, and I like erotic romance too, if you count that sort of as a
Sure, yeah.
separate one. Those are like my four main go-to.
Yeah.
I probably don't grab paranormal quite as much, or like urban fantasy or something like that. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, I would say those four. I'll rotate them, no problem.
Yeah. It feels like, and that romantic fantasy is kind of, and I could be wrong. It's just based on my scope, is making
Yeah.
is like the number one biggest thing right now. I think with like, I keep calling it Iron Lung. It's not called Iron Lung. It's
Oh my God,
Iron
I love
Wing.
that. Fourth Wing, yeah.
Yeah, our fourth wing, Iron Flame. And I'm just
Iron Flame, yes.
and like, what are you reading? I'm like, oh, it's this romantasy called Iron Lung. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, no, wait, Iron Flame.
I would read that. I would read that. Iron Lung, yes.
It's a sexy title.
Sexy all the way, yes.
But
So
those
you
books are
do like fantasy or you don't like
I
romantic?
do love fantasy. That's been kind of like my go-to personal kick. Like, I'll,
Mm,
I with the show and with other people's podcasts and books that like people are like, oh, can you read this? Like, I will read whatever. But like for my like vacation reads, where it's like, oh, I am choosing something to read for fun. Lately, this past like year and a half, it's been romantic fantasy, and
nice.
so I think I feel like I was probably a little late to Fourth Wing because it was more than $5, but I
Yes, it
enjoyed it.
was. Well, let me ask you that. Like a lot of, fantasy for me at the beginning, it was all like young adult fantasy. So I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I want to. Like, do you care? Like young adult or,
I do care. Yeah.
yeah,
I was that's why I was so hesitant about Fourth Wing because it takes place like in a military academy and I'm just like for me I'm like I I love kids but like I don't care about you know what I mean? Like I'm
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
want adults. But
Yes,
then it's like taken everything by storm. Everyone's telling me to read it. I have time. It's over Christmas, whatever. And I did like it because yeah, there's like the academy aspect to it, but it's like, oh no, wait, they're all adults in it, like they're not
right.
it's not like oh they're 18, they're all 20-year-olds going through this like program and they like I don't know, like they know how to have sex, I guess. that
Yeah,
which maybe is why I'm so averse to like like losing your virginity. I mean, with the exception of this book that we're reading today,
we're
with
going to
like
talk about that. I was going to say, we're
yeah,
going to talk about that. Yeah.
oh, 100%. Like this I loved. But like just with like being in school, like I hated going to school myself. Like it's an era of my life I don't want to fantasize about. And so I get hesitant about academy based YA stuff. But this was different. The Fourth Wing Iron Lung was
Yeah.
different as well.
I feel I'm the same way. Like it has to be a really good young adult fantasy for me to want to grab and read it because I would much prefer adult. Same.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even now, like I'm like when I read a character that's like 25, or even a character in this book, she's 20. I'm like, baby, they're babies. They're not.
Yes.
I
I
was an
know.
adult that age.
Right. Yes, exactly. And they do come across at their age to me at times.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. This is very interesting, and I'm actually really excited to talk about this book because we are reviewing The Good Girl by Nikki Sloane. It's in the Nashville Neighborhood Book Series. It is book 5, and it is currently $4.99. So let me read a quick synopsis. After her parents renege on a promise to send her to culinary school, Sydney is ready to set fire to her good girl reputation. But her recipe for rebellion requires a special ingredient. And that's a big helping of Preston, the oh-so-sexy event planner who knows how to conceptualize all the logistics she needs for a good time. But with Sydney being his best friend's sister, Preston's risk management skills are put to the test. Sure, Preston can teach under pressure, but what if his heart gets a little too engaged?
Oh, this is my most excited part about the podcast, and I can't wait to hear her synopsis of this book. Well done. Well done.
I love it. I just like I feel like it's got to the point where like authors like, why are you doing that? Just go on Amazon and read the thing. Like everyone else, and I'm like, why am I doing that? But thank you.
Yes, keep on, keep on. It's awesome.
So we like kind of started talking about the idea of like virginity and and some of the things that kind of even like antiquated notions of like don't date my sister, that which comes up in this book. But I want to ask, did you read the other books before this book?
I read 2 of them.
Okay.
I read The Pool Boy and The Frat Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you read the one where Preston is first introduced?
No, so I did not read the first one, The Doctor, which is about him and his girlfriend, and then the girlfriend then hooks up with the dad and that sort of thing. But I did read Colin's story, so the best friend in this one. His was the frat boy.
Okay.
And then Troy is another character, a singer. He's sort of mentioned in this book. His story was the pool boy.
Cool. And I'm assuming they were just as sexy, just as quote unquote taboo.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, Nikki Sloane's kind of one of those authors that I grab just if I want something, nothing too heavy, light. Probably going to bring the steam and it's a taboo in some ways that I'm either going to roll my eyes in some parts and like gush over others, which I totally did in this one too.
Yes.
So yeah, and she's the one to go to for those. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought her sex scenes were phenomenal, but we'll get there. But so this book starts off. We have Sydney and Preston, and they like are at this party, and they meet up, and they like play beer pong, and like Preston is kind of like in the good doctor, not the good doctor, the story that's called The Doctor. Preston is he plays like the jerk ex-boyfriend in this, so he's kind of like. I'm assuming, I didn't read it, but he's like the villain in a previous book or an antagonist in a previous book. But now he is the romantic hero in this book. It's like this is kind of like his redemption story.
Yes. And I think people who started the series and read that book, it's like, oh, now we're finally getting Preston's story and his, happily ever after, ending that he deserves after what happened in that first book.
Yeah. So what happens in that first book is that all of these books like they're taboo, and so the taboo plot line was I was about to say his sister hooks up with his dad. That's not it. His girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, falls in love with his dad, and they are a couple. And he. Obviously, you could tell from this book, had a lot of trouble with that, and shit really hit the fan in that situation.
Yes, and I don't think you tell me what you thought, but I don't think I felt out of the loop not having read that book reading this one. There's definitely some spoilers to it if you wanted to read that book, but in terms of how he finds out about them and that kind of stuff, but I felt sort of with it not having read that.
Yeah, I was actually kind of appreciated that I didn't read it, and now I kind of want to read it next. Because like I loved that this is like your stereotypical ex-boyfriend in a romance novel who's like, he gets his comeuppance and it's so satisfying, but you don't know about his story. And finally he
Mhm.
gets his story, and it asks this question of like, can people change? Can the antagonist in this book change and be a better person? Like, I think in romance world, and I could be wrong, it seems like Preston was the ultimate bad boyfriend. He is not there for the heroine. He was doing it. He cheated. He, did everything wrong. And I thought it was so clever that it was like, oh, let's give it like let's make him the main character. And it's like, oh yeah, book characters can change too if you write their books.
Yes, yes. And interesting how she kind of flipped it where he was trying to be the good guy, right, in the story and be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I don't want to blow up my friendship with my friend, but, so that was an interesting twist. Um, and I thought she set them up like really good with that first chapter, like the year prior. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was a really good sort of like, okay, she's pegged as the total good girl because she's never played, even had a beer or played beer pong, and
Mm-hmm.
Preston is like, oh, I'm too bad for you because I don't date and da da da. So it was a really good like setup, I thought.
Oh yeah, totally. And then they do in that scene, they do kiss.
Hmm.
And I when I read the kiss, I was like, this is gonna be a hot book because like, when you read a kiss scene and you're like, that was this is just a kiss. Like, where's this going? Like, whoa.
I'm trying to remember. Was he like, is it like the grab behind the neck kind of like,
Yep.
yeah, and push her up against the car,
Yeah.
door? I
It
love
was
those.
so sexy. And there's like and it comes in like chapter 3. Like, what I really liked about this is that like multiple chapters take place at like the same event. So at this party, which is kind of like the prologue to the story, it's like multiple chapters. And so
Yes,
as a reader, you're like, okay, come on, like, this is good.
yes, exactly. Yeah. And it was cool because, it said she never had a beer and it set up how good she was. And I had to be home for curfew or I can't drink too much. And yeah, it was really a cool setup in terms of each characterization for the main hero and heroine.
Oh, totally. And what I loved is that I feel like the book really kind of explores like where their characters would be based on the events that happen in the books previous. Like, we talked about Preston and his girlfriend thing, but Sydney's brother, his taboo romance was he falls in love with a porn star and they're together now. And he has cut off ties with their parents, who are very strict, very, conservative, blah, blah, blah. So now we have Sydney feeling this like insurmountable pressure to like keep like to please her parents because like god forbid both of their children don't talk to them anymore,
Right.
so I thought that was like such a clever use of like the world.
Yeah, definitely. Because you could feel for her. Like, understandably, she wants to keep what she has left of her family sort of together. Doesn't want to push that envelope too much because her brother totally jumped over the line and then some. So yeah, I could feel for her. But oh my gosh, if you want to go back and read the first one, The Doctor, you have to go back then and read Colin's story, The Frat Boy, because
Mhm.
it was like fan yourself steamy the entire time. It was really, really good because yeah, he and this other girl who they're sort of enemies to lovers in college and they end up getting booted out of their fraternity and sorority and so they end up becoming these like adult film stars to make money. It was great.
That's adorable. I mean, it's cute.
I
um
mean, hey,
I am so curious to read his story because I did not like him in this book. I will say I thought it the way I mean like if I had read the previous book and I like got into his character and I saw like all of his turmoil or whatever, but in this book I think maybe because I didn't read his story, like he just came off as like really selfish. Like, he like granted, he did the right thing, but like didn't think about the consequences of his actions for his little sister who's like still stuck with her annoying parents.
yeah. You're right. I think he did come across very judgmental, right? And it's like, well, if you, Colin and Preston become really close buddies, and he came and asked you for all this help, a year ago, like, hey, I suck in bed, can you help me? You would think you'd see like how he's changed over that year, but he was like, nope, not having it. And
Yeah.
then I loved when she called him out on being like, you're totally acting like our parents, and I was like, whoa, you go, that's a
Mm-hmm.
big no.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
really hits him. Yeah.
he's actually not that bad of a guy. I think he was, yeah,
I think it was
having,
like he's an overprotective brother, which,
yeah,
listen, I have an older brother. I get it. Well, I mean, I don't get it. I am not an older brother. I have one, and he is overprotective. But there is this trope, like, I feel like all of these books are about couples who like cross the line, so to say. And I think the line being crossed in this book is a guy is dating his best friend's sister, which is I I don't know how much I like that. Yeah, okay. You just.
I
I don't
agree
know how
because
much I
it's
like
like,
that.
well,
Like, is that taboo? Like, I don't know.
I know. It's like, well, your best friends, you must really like him for a reason. So why wouldn't you want him with your sister, right? There's totally
Yeah.
that angle. It's like, I don't understand that. Yes, the history and how he's treated people in the past. So yeah, I kind of get that angle. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if he's a good friend, then trust him to take care of her or whatever.
100%. And then, like, also this idea, it does feel a little archaic of like, my sister belongs to me. It felt like at times Sydney felt like his property just because she was a little
Yes,
sister.
true. I mean, 4 years younger, I can understand why he might feel that way, now, but I mean, girls gotta grow up.
I know.
Let her be that good girl grown up.
Mm-hmm. Let her be a good girl. And so she does grow up a bit. A year passes after this initial kiss, and Preston is like, he told Sydney, I don't date, but lo and behold, a year later, he's on a date. It's not going well. He's at a restaurant and he sees Sydney with her mom in the midst of this huge argument. And she like storms out and he like follows her. And we find out kind of the situation she's in. Her parents are making her give up on her dreams and she's ready to be bad.
She's like, I agreed to stay in college for 2 years and give it a try, even though I want to go to culinary school. And now you're saying it's not good enough. I need to spend 2 years more. And I felt for her because she's like, I just wasted all of that time. Not that I'm necessarily, yes, I'm pissed that you reneged on that, but I also wasted all of that time. So yeah, that really sucked for her. So I'm glad she stormed out and wasn't a good girl in that situation.
Absolutely. I just felt like she needed to be around people who were like, how are you? Like no
Mhm.
one was asking her, how are you? But,
Right.
here, yeah, here's Preston. How are you?
Yes, he walks out on his date for her and is
Hmm.
like, what can I do? Where do you want to go? I'm here for you. So
Yes.
that was really a good turnaround for him.
So they like drive off, and this is where she like propositions like, "Hey, I'm a virgin. I want to be bad. I'm. This is me entering my rebellious phase. You help me do all of it, please." And he's like, "Okay."
Yes. Will you be my teacher on how to be bad? Yes.
Hmm. And we discover that she is a virgin, which means something to the characters in this book. Um, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on like virginity, the importance of virginity in romance novels, like how there's it is used as like stakes for a plot.
Um, I love a good virgin romance novel,
Mm-hmm.
but for it to be this very like cliche, like she was wearing white and all that stuff, that I get a little like, seriously, like where are we in the world? I much prefer the ones where they're like, no, this is where it is, or this was my choice, but now here I am, and we don't have to build it up to this be this big thing. But yet the moment where maybe that, they're no longer a virgin, I like how it still becomes a thing, in
Yeah.
a way. But to be pretty cliche sometimes, I do get a little cringy in that
I
sense.
find it a little cringe. I didn't find it cringe in this book because I think, like you said, like when they had sex, it was just like another sexy scene, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think some of the other, scenes were a little more built up than her losing her virginity scene, to be honest, if I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even remember it, you know, like, and like in life, you know, but my mom.
Other than her like checking for blood, I was like, really? Did you have to add that line? But whatever.
Yeah, like you. And he does, well, I will say he does bring a vibrator, which, you know, I guess is important, you know, and that sends a message to the world, you know, incorporating that into this book. But
Right.
just the idea of like virginity, I don't know, I'm just like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and how like,
Mhm.
ooh, it is a social construct, is it so archaic, you know, like does it matter? But I know it turns I know it's a good plot point, and I know it turns, but it's like, do I like it, you know, that whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Definitely a good thing to ponder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's not going to come to me, but I read a book recently with one, and I was like, wow, that was really well done. And because it didn't seem like it wasn't even on the book summary that someone was a virgin. It was just, this is who she
Yes.
was, and I think it was the heroine. So yeah, and it just kind of came what it was, and
Yeah.
that felt good. Yeah, reading it. Yeah.
I agree. And I think, like, yeah, it wasn't a big deal. I do think, like, he does, like, leading up, refer to her vagina as virgin pussy during dirty talk only. And that was hot. I will acknowledge that was pretty sexy.
They both sort of brought it with the dirty talk in this book, not gonna
Loved
lie.
it. The dirty talk was so good.
I was like highlighting some lines and like writing them down because I was just like, dude, like,
Hmm.
wow, you brought it in that instance. Yeah.
Yeah. And let me remind you, he's 24. And I'm
Right.
like, this guy has more game, dare I say, than most 50, like most normal middle-aged men. You know what I mean? Just like his level of, I mean, I guess maybe that's the book, but like, and in these books, his level of confidence was just like, I'm thinking about like 24-year-olds that I know, you know, and it's like, oh my
Right.
God.
Right. Well, he had that whole year of like, doing it with everyone he could and getting
Hmm.
feedback, which I thought was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He definitely like had a goal and achieved it. Like he was
Yes.
like type A. It was a very nice like type A kind of exploration he went through.
And I think that was valid, sort of one of his like um reasons of like, well, maybe I should just go and do it with her because I know what I'm doing and any other guy is going to make it suck for her, so why not me?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that like it's him being nice. He is nice, but he thinks so low of himself, you know,
Mhm.
deep
Mhm.
down, I think, because of the mistakes he's made, and because like Colin tells him like stay away from my sister. Like I think it's kind of reinforcing this negative idea of like you're not good enough, you're not worth it, which is like painful.
Yeah, very painful. And then to have Colin sort of throw it in his face too as a reason, even when he sort of throws the idea out, like, what if I, started dating your sister? It just sort of pushes that wound a little bit more.
Mhm.
But I thought it was really, you know, great of him at age 24 that he had that sort of self reflection piece to be like, no, I've changed,
Yeah.
and I realized I wasn't asked, when I was younger. And I recognize the error of my ways, and I've tried, and I am trying still to be better.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
impressive.
And I will say, I mean, I knew that this was going to be in the book, like just because I trust romance authors. But, you know, consent, you know, obviously
Yeah.
is a very important theme in this book. And he very much, you know, respects and acknowledges, like, you know, how fast or how slow Sydney wants to go. I mean, she is using him. Like, she is hiring him, not hiring, but like asking him to do her a favor, you know,
Hmm. Right.
sexually.
Right.
And he still gives her the power in the situation, even though like he does have the power of experience, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's why I felt okay, them just jumping right into things because they have that sort of history of sort of knowing each other. So she has some level of trust already to
Hmm.
be able to just be like, okay, let's do this. Where any other book, if they were complete strangers, I would be kind of like, really? Like, eh. But they have enough history where I felt like, okay, I can see the trust here and that they're going to just go all in with these lessons. Why not?
Yeah, and it made it was fine. Like, it was fine. Like, like they're hooking up real early in the book.
Yeah,
The virginity scene happens. I think losing the virginity scene happens before I think 50%.
yeah.
So it all kind of like the pacing. I think was well. The pacing to the sex parts was really well done.
A plus on that.
Good job.
Yeah, I have no problems with them. Although I was like, wow, okay, here they are again in a car. I'm like, they really like to do it in a car.
I mean, where else are they gonna do it?
I guess that's true. But didn't he live in his own like pool house or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, they
Somewhere.
had places that they could go, but they liked cars. They liked doing it in a car.
I had to go back because I was like, am I just like thinking three times, at least three times,
Oh
and
yeah.
always the fear of is somebody gonna look and see, that little taboo
Mm-hmm.
esque like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
kind of
turn on
liked
to
that.
them.
I liked that though. Yeah,
I did
turned up the heat.
too. I did like, like they're doing their thing, and so they have sex, and she's borrowing her parents' car at one point, and they're like sneaking off into an alleyway to like go have sex, and it's like a good alleyway because like there's no camera, whatever. It's they can easily get away with it, and they use a condom, and they're finishing, and he's like, you should leave it in there and see what your parents do. That'll you'll be a bad girl if you do that. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But then later on, it says, which I related to this so much, even though I've never been in this
Totally.
situation.
Yeah.
But she like sneaks down and like takes it and throws it away before her parents can see, and it's like, yeah, I would have done the same thing.
I loved that. Yeah. Like you can leave some sheen on the car seat or wherever you were getting on, but the condom wrapper, a little too much for my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's insane.
I get
Yeah,
it.
and it's like
Yes.
I understand the need to rebel against your parents, but it's like like the leaving a condom wrapper around. I'm like, oh wow, you've got to be really. I don't know. There's a conversation.
Especially given her parents. I mean, they basically right before that scene had said, "You're not." I mean, she's 20, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "You're not allowed to see him." Like, come on. She's freaking 20. Yes, living under your roof, but so she's like, well, screw you guys. I'm going to take the car and I'm not going to the movies just to watch a movie. Yeah. So I was pretty impressed with her, and
Hmm.
she had another first going to that, having to buy her first condom.
Hmm.
So, but I kind of appreciated that she even said like, there's no cameras here. Cause if I would have been in that situation, I would have been like,
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's
She
going to be.
knew.
She knew. Yeah. She covered all her bases.
Yeah. Do you think like 20, like do you think 20 was like too old for her to be like under her parents' control like that? Like when does someone become an adult? I mean, I know legally when someone becomes an adult, but like when does someone become an adult?
Yeah. I mean, gosh, good question. I mean, and she was kind of like, well, if I get kicked out, what am I going to do? Right? I have no health
Mm.
insurance, none of. But I'm like, well, you seem to be working quite a bit as a chef. Like, don't you have any money saved? Like, I didn't understand her whole like money situation.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think that's a really tricky beast, and I don't know how I would be if my kids get older. Like, well, if you're choosing to still live under my roof, like, here are some of my rules. But at the same time, like, to tell someone you can or cannot see somebody, I think that's a little gray for that age.
Yeah. And I think like just with the way it's portrayed in this book, it's kind of like, sweetie, stay away from the bad boy. And I think like there isn't like, I understand this need to please your parents. Like you will always, no matter how old you are always going to feel this need to please your parents. And I love the idea of like reverting back to that when you're with your parents as an adult. Like I get it. I completely get why she's doing what she's doing, but for some reason it
Yeah.
felt like her parents thought she was a different age and it wasn't like called out.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, as a parent, I mean, and she's still under your roof, like you want her to, in a way, to go out with guys that if she's interested in, because then if something happens, you're there to kind of help her through it or whatever, as opposed to being so like, no, and like that's not helping her in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it almost seemed like she was like 16,
Hmm.
17, for them to be acting that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can all agree the people who needed the most help were the parents. I like started to even feel bad for them at some points. I was just like, you guys need to get therapy.
Yes, total therapy. And so I liked when Preston's dad at that one point was like, get the fuck out of my house. He wasn't holding anything back when they came and were
Yes.
like throwing around judgment. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like, yeah, they needed to be put in their place, which that was a pretty cool scene. And it was also kind of again like with Preston's redemption scene, like yeah, I'm sure in the book where, he rectifies things with his dad, but like this is really like okay, they're able to move on. He gives his dad permission to marry his ex-girlfriend, It's going to be
Yes.
okay. It's going to be weird, but we'll do it together
Yes.
as a family.
Yes. I'll embrace the weird and yes, we'll move on. And he calls him, he's like, my dad's awesome, much better than you guys. And I think both of them were kind of like, I can't believe I just said, everybody was like, can't believe you just said that, given all the history. So that was a really good moment to realize, okay, we are moving forward and with our different family here.
Totally. Because I think,
Yeah.
like, with Happily Ever Afters, you just think, okay, now there's no more loose ends. But clearly in this series, there's going to be plenty of loose end.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, totally. And sometimes you do. You kind of want the epilogue's just not enough to see like what's next, right?
Hmm.
So you're right. This really does give a little bit extra for extending that first book. Definitely.
Totally. Yeah. What I liked about these two characters is that they were very competitive. Like, they play beer pong in the beginning, they're competitive. They go axe throwing, they're very competitive. Do you consider yourself a competitive person?
Yes, I do actually.
Okay.
Although, now that I age, like I feel like that gets tempered and it's definitely different when it's with my kids,
Of
right?
course. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I can smack down with the best of them if I really want to.
Is this like in board games or like in sports or like
Right.
trivia?
Mostly probably in sports. In board
Okay.
games, I can, I go take things with a grain of salt. But yeah, if we have like game nights with my family, and I can throw with the best of them. I want to win. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How about
yeah.
you? Are you very competitive?
I am not. I'm one of those millennials that's like everyone should get a prize.
Here's your trophy, Becky, for participating.
Thank you. Thank you. We are all winners because we participate. I
That's
think it's
awesome.
like, well, I mean, I think it's like this fear of like, oh, if I get competitive and I lose, like the letdown of losing, like,
Ah,
oh, is like, okay, I hate that feeling. So if I'm not competitive, I won't be. Not that that's, I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of like being like everyone wins is like more of a defense mechanism than like truly believing it. I guess I'm just trying to protect my soul. I need to work on that now that I think about
I get
it.
that. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Although I'm not gonna lie, like Preston kind of pissed me off in those moments. And maybe not for you, but
Hmm.
like I felt like he showed his age a little bit because it wasn't just once, it was like every single time they competed at something. It was like, dude, like get off it.
Yeah.
Like she's beating you, suck it up,
Hmm.
like don't like try and sabotage her and be a poor sport. So I don't know. I had
Totally.
to I had to kind of breathe and give it a minute with him and his mini golf shenanigans and whatnot.
100%. See, I actually kind of like that. I kind of like when they get competitive because I'm like, oh yeah, we all revert to kids when you know what I mean? Like we all become like, it's like okay, it's almost fun. It's like when I see it in like an enemies to lovers or kind of thing when just like people revert to being really immature. I love that.
Yeah, well, and he couldn't help himself. It was just like, I don't care that I'm kind of into this girl. Like, tunnel vision, like must win,
Mm-hmm.
at all costs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And she's the same way. They're both very driven.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Um,
Speaking of being driven, one thing I liked about Preston is that as he works for an events planning company, and so he constantly has swag, and he always has like he's always giving her presents. You know, like, oh, I got you this, I got you that, got you this, got you that, got you new or got you new cutting knives, I got you a vibrator, blah blah blah, and it's always like wrapped in like perfect gift wrap, and it's like, and they mention it's like because of his job, and I'm like, I love that he always has crafting supplies.
he does. Yes, you're right. I kind of didn't even think about that, but they are. It's not just here's the bag, it's like this is a presentation. Here we go.
Yeah. And I kind of like got caught up in that because like I guess maybe because I was like reading this like during the holidays and I'm like have all this like weird scraps of like wrapping paper and I'm like, where do I put this, where do I put that, and I'm like, where does Preston keep all this stuff, like, how does he organize this shit, because like I'm not.
Right. I need to look into his big storage, facility and see his organization skills. I need that. Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I can't tell you. Like I have a, what do you call it, cabinet that I just stuff like gift bags and like tissue paper. And so it's like they barely close. And when I open it, it's like everything gushes out. When I need to find something, I'm like, oh, stuff it back in. Not
Yeah.
that I ever change it or fix it. So
No, because you're
I,
only opening it once a year, like every so often, so why put
yeah,
the effort in?
totally. Yes. Gosh.
And like a part of me is like, well, I kind of need to see that scene with Preston opening his drawer, opening his cabinet, everything falls out, and he gets really pissed off and like has to clean it back up.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why I would love to see that scene. I just would.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Too funny. Ugh.
So we have like they're kind of, I guess it's a third act breakup. Like the shit hits the fan kind of moment. Colin finds out. Well, first, Sydney comes over and his buddy Troy walks in on them making out in the pool, and so now it's like, okay, stakes are raising. We got the tension's happening.
Yes, somebody else now is in the know. And what are
Yeah.
we gonna do? Mm-hmm.
When I read that scene, because like not that I don't like you walk in on someone who's like making out with someone, most people would just like turn away. Be like,
Right. Yes. Yes. And it's not like they're in his yard. He walks into Preston's yard. So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And he's just like, excuse me. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, even if it was a problem, like, even if it is a problem and he wanted to like warn his buddy, you wait until after. Like, it's so humiliating.
Yeah, for sure. So we kind of like almost felt like he was better than him too, which, his story of the pool boy, like he's with some 20-year-old older woman, his mother's best friend, so
Okay,
you
that's the
gotta
name.
know where to talk, buddy.
Yeah, I feel like Colin and Troy were like really judgmental for having their own books.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
You had your own book. You should learn,
Yeah.
Where's your growth? Um, I just feel like it also kind of like cheapens Sydney in a way, like, which in a way that I think is good and made me care for her character, in that like it was almost like she didn't even matter, you know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, he was more concerned about what his buddy was doing and not realizing like, she can make her own choices, she's her own person, like what, I think that's what like was so but why this trope I find so grating sometimes, of like,
Yes.
yeah, you
I
don't feel like a
totally agree.
person.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't really think about it at that time from her perspective, but you're absolutely right. Like, you know, yes, you're being a douche to your friend, but hello, you're now embarrassing her and that's not your place. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Like she's
absolutely.
standing right there,
Yeah, yeah.
and he just like doesn't care.
Although the only good thing about it was that Preston was sort of defending them to Troy. And so she got to overhear, like, I really care about this girl. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not just doing this, to do it. So, yes,
Yeah, that was good.
something good
Yeah.
came out of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was something good. It was growth. Like she realized, like they kind of at this point have decided we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And they, and I quote, say, no big deal. You're my
Right.
girlfriend. No big deal. I thought that was
No
so
big deal.
cute. I loved it.
All good. Yes. Let's
No
not
big
make a big
deal.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think the theme of this book is, just like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Oh,
so yeah, I guess I mean, it is good that she like, saw him kind of like express his like feelings for her in that way. But then later, which again I thought was so rude, is it's like the night of the big event, for their event planning company, and like Colin and them are, hanging out, and he's like looking at his phone, and she's sending him messages like a very sweet message. I think it was like good luck or whatever. And Colin full on like is like, who are you texting? And he's like, no one. And then Colin like snaps the phone out of his hand. And I was like,
mhm.
oh my God, who
Yeah.
does that?
Personal space, dude, and that's not yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be seeing that message where she's like, I can't wait, I love you inside me, or whatever it was.
Yeah, she says something like super sexy. Yeah.
Super sexy. And I loved how Preston's like, don't keep scrolling because you're gonna see something you really don't want to see.
That was very funny.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so not cool, like to grab his phone. I totally agree.
Yeah, I thought it was so uncool. And then it's like at that point in the book, like I'm realizing like, oh, everyone around Preston just like really doesn't believe in him, And I felt for him so much. And I almost related a bit in like, you're surrounded by people who think they know you and they think they know what you want and who you are. And you're like, you're the closest people to me and you don't understand me at all, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. And he even kind of got put in his place by Cassidy, his ex, being like, well, see, now you're in the same situation, So it was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like, man, he's getting it from everybody that
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure this out, and this is what I want, but nobody's supporting me or helping me out in the process.
Yeah. They're like, none of you guys are giving me room to grow. And because of that, you are all the enemy. Like, you're the bad people now. Like, which,
Yes,
that again, that reversal I found so clever.
yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I did. I felt for the guy because he clearly had changed and was just trying to figure out the right situation. Because I get it. Like, God, you want this girl, but you've got not only your friendship, but now your business too on the line,
Mm-hmm.
your livelihood. So that's a big dilemma.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like, no, like, and it's like, no one, I mean, and with the exception of Sydney, is like really, or maybe Cassie and his dad because they're like his family, but like, no one's really like putting themselves in his shoes of like, this isn't like, he's like, I don't know, parking in your parking space, like it's
Right.
not, these are big things that you're pointing out. It's like, have some empathy for this guy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Although maybe we get a little bit of that towards the end. I don't
Oh,
know.
everyone comes around in the end.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Do not worry,
Yes.
folks. I
Yes.
mean,
Keep
obviously, yeah.
reading.
Yeah, keep reading. There's a happily ever after in this. Um But then it feels like, Colin, again, being very overdramatic, which he does later get called out on. There is a line that I like that Preston tells him. But, Colin's just like, okay, fine. You need to make a choice. It's either our company or my sister. And Sydney, like, overhearing that, is just like, I'm not going to have to make you choose. Like, I love you. I'm breaking up with you. That's the shit situation you're in.
Yeah. So she kind of removes the decision from him you know, from the get-go, being like, you don't have to make a choice because I'm peacing out because I don't want you to have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt for, gosh, where Preston in both situations, he's just sort of like deer in headlights, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, like I don't know how to process this and how to react, but everyone was kind of like, no, have an answer. You need to do this. When he's just sort of like frozen. And I totally felt for the guy in that situation because I'm like, guys, let him take a breath. Let's all figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just sort of like, you know, not given that time.
Right. Yeah. Cause she at that and during that moment, like that's when she admits she loves him. to everyone. Like she doesn't say, she hasn't like said I love you to him, and like there is just like when all of this is happening, like that's when she admits it. And so again, that like adds to like his deer in headlights, because like they're kind of expecting him to be like, well, I love her too, and he's just like, literally my whole life is imploding right now, like I don't, like he's literally speechless.
Yeah, Colin puts him on the spot. Well, do you love her? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what was I supposed to answer that? I'm still like processing everything. So yeah, it was kind of like big, big moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, I feel like Preston finds his voice. He does love Sydney, but he first like goes up to Colin, and I like really loved this scene where he was like, Colin, I think it's really shitty that you gave me an ultimatum like that. Like what does he say? He's like, if you want to play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yes. Yeah, he did. He kind of like called him out and be like, that was a really thing to do. You're my friend. Like, no, it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I thought that was a great scene. I thought Troy coming around was great. And, and then in the end, like, what I really liked about this Happily Ever After is that they also help Sydney with her career. They, like, inadvertently hire her to be a private, or to be a chef. And she, like, gets, like a celebrity. She wants to be, like, a personal chef to, like, a celebrity or whatever. And so there's a celebrity at their event. She gets hired, and then of course and they're like, they have their happily ever after, but she gets hired because of her career. I
Yes,
was more excited about her
and the
career.
parents finally see like, God, you're amazing. But yeah, I have to say that was like a really epic grand gesture. That whole like ending wrap up, I was
Hmm.
like, wow, you hit it out of the park, Preston. Way to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
I was like, almost like, there were times earlier in the book where it was like Preston was managing this and he had to like talk with the vendors, and I'm like, hire her to cook.
You
She's
saw
right
it. You
there.
saw it coming.
Yeah.
Nice.
You love her shrimp risotto.
And the ravioli, gosh, I was like drooling. I'm like, can I have some of that? Geez.
It did look good. It does seem like she's a good cook.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
what I really liked is that, like, there's a point where she like is working, and this happens with chefs a lot. She cuts herself, and he like full on acts like her
Flips
arm fell
out.
off. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But that was cool. Like every scene where she was like cooking, she was sort of like a different person, right? You could see her being like confident and owning her space and knowing her stuff. And I was like, yeah, Sydney, like, let's take this in other areas of your life and roll with it because you're one, spitfire in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. That was my favorite quality about her as a character, because it's like, there it gives her so much, like, whatever a good girl means. Like, you think, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and oh, I'm just gonna do that, and like, I'm not gonna be driven in my career or whatever. But to like,
Hmm.
it gives her so much like like, she makes her feel more dynamic.
Yeah. A little more depth to her than I think initially you're like, oh, it's the stereotypical version good girl. But no,
Hmm.
she had some real spine and depth to her, which I liked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
um and then so they have their happily ever after. Preston finally gets his own place,
Yes.
and he lets his dad marry his ex-girlfriend,
Yes.
and
Gives his blessing.
has his
Hmm.
blessing. And then we end on like another sex scene, which is great.
Yeah, I think they said they're, obsessed and can't get enough. So happily ever after to them.
I mean, really, I loved this. I really did love this book. Like, and I think, like, you mentioned something earlier about like Preston actually isn't a bad boy, and bad boy. I feel like I'm like talking to a dog, like, bad boy.
I just keep hearing the song, Bad Boy, Bad Boy.
Mhm.
Anyway, that totally dates me, but go ahead.
And Sydney, not necessarily a good girl. Like, what
Hmm.
does bad and good mean anymore?
Exactly. Like some random societal norm, like we're so or should be so past that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had to sort of step back for those who like sort of the more stereotypical brother's best friend with that virgin piece. this will totally hit the spot for those people who love it because it had all of those things in a kind of fun, unique way. So
Oh, 100%. And I think even if like as someone who doesn't like those things very much, I still think it's a good read. Like the things about it, they were just like very unique and clever that it like the stuff that usually would bother me like didn't because I just like was rooting for them the whole time. When I'm rooting for the
yeah,
characters, I'll read any trope. Like I'll read you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like even the part like you knew there had to have been a close run in, right? And so when he's
Mhm.
like throwing her in the closet for like an
Oh
hour,
my
right?
god. I never felt for someone fake that didn't exist in real life more.
Yeah, because I mean, it wasn't just like 10 minutes. She was in there, I
Yeah.
think, for quite a while and
Like
she was pissed.
oh, as yeah. And I think that's like it's a scene that I've seen in movies before, of just like a woman having to be in the closet and being quiet. I for some reason it's a scene, it's an image that like really sticks with me of like you have to hide because this guy is dealing with someone more important, and it's like it's so telling like in like old movies when I see that, or in like like movies where like a guy's having an affair and the woman is like has to hide and it's supposed to be silly. I'm always thinking about that woman of like she's not a jacket.
Right, right. There is no hanger for her. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Oh.
But I like how she kind of weaved those like, it has to have a, oops, almost run in and it has to have this. Like I thought
Hmm.
it was really well done in that respect, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if you read like at the back, like acknowledgments. I love to read authors'
Oh
acknowledgments.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you read
Hmm.
those? Um, and it sounded like she had a hard time like finishing this book.
Hmm.
And she had help on like, I don't know, what was it, a writer's retreat or something with other authors. And I was like, oh, well, cool for you to admit that. And I think you brought it around. So
Yeah.
kudos.
It's so interesting, like, when you're like working on your own things. And I'm sure you've run into this too of like, oh, I gotta, come up with a new list. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And you're like, kind of like, you know, stuck with ideas. You're hitting a wall and you're like, am I gonna be as good as what I did before? And then you end up
Hmm.
doing like exceptionally well. And it's like that nice, pleasant surprise.
Yes, that is a good feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how the author is like equating her level of success. I know everyone has like different people use different parameters, but like I totally like understand the feeling of like you find your niche, you find what you want to do, and then it's just like, "Oh, am I going to be a one-hit wonder?" I mean, am I going to be a one-hit wonder? For her, it's probably a four-hit wonder, but or more.
Right,
but
right.
yeah, like am I as good as the last one, especially when I have like a whole community of readers like relying on me to like literally make their dreams come true. I can understand the pressure.
Oh, total pressure. Yeah. And then, I don't know how to do it and come up with new storylines and that because I've read things where people are like, this sounds the same, but well, that one was a hit and we loved it, so why wouldn't we? And then other people write reviews, this didn't come across the same as that. So it's like, which way do you want it? Like
Yeah, yeah.
authors who are trying to spread their wings, and try something new, or people who are like, no, I do this well and I love it, so I'm going to do this one the same.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's even just putting something on paper and then putting it out into the world, I'm impressed. So,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, it's kind
Mhm.
of just like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, what do you like? It's like you can't please everybody, and yeah.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
do you find with your work like running into that kind of like just like interacting with the opinions of readers, not writers, with like differing like kind of perspectives to like sharing criticism or liking this, not liking this, like do you I guess my question is like does the drama affect you? Does the drama of Romance Landia affect you?
No, thank
Hmm.
goodness, because I'm kind of one of those where I'm not big on social. I mean, I
Hmm.
probably should for what I'm doing, but
Same, yeah.
it just doesn't resonate with me. So I don't think so I'm not in it in that sense. I mean, I
Hmm.
might get a randomly a comment or two on the blog, but even that, not really. Um, if anything, it's just fun sometimes scrolling through like reviews on Goodreads just to see like how some people are like, and into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my gosh. But no, I luckily am not in that, and nor do I care to be. Like, no, thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be hard, because and it's like everyone means well, but we're also sensitive and fragile.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I kind of feel that way sometimes too when I write a review. Like, I think constructive criticism is good and
Mm-hmm.
helpful. I know I have in the past written some where I'm just so pissed off and I kind of like write that and I'm like, oh, like, and then I kind of like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
this is somebody who this is their work, but I was so pissed off, about this. How could they do that?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I try and, find that line where I'm honest, right, in my
Mm-hmm.
reviews always, but always also respecting like this is their work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for someone behind a screen or behind a type, computer to write something, but I mean, human decency in all things, right? Like,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
yeah,
There's a part of me like at like do you think that there could be some instances where like an author does deserve snark, like when they do like I feel like when they do write something that is very hurtful to a community of people, I'm like, yeah, like let's hear it. You know what I mean? Like bring
yes,
it on.
yes, definitely. Well, and that even makes me think like how some authors write like non-consensual acts and stuff and people love them and praise them, but then somebody else does and they're like vilified. So
Mhm.
I don't know where people draw that line, right, on certain things.
Yeah. Mhm.
Or someone's trying to write an all-inclusive novel with characters that they don't identify with, but they're trying to like expand their repertoire and people are like, well, how can you write them? That's not it's so
Right. There's
I don't
nuance,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
I
is a
find
lot of nuance. And so I think when like you come across something like that like that is very easy to snark against, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Of like
yeah,
not that it's like exciting because I don't want anyone's feelings being hurt, but like I think
yeah.
like okay, it's like, oh, I am valid, everyone is valid. You full on need to be canceled. Like let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I read a book last year that was very popular on like Book Talk and stuff, but I did not like it at all. I tried my hardest to finish and I just couldn't. And
Mhm.
I, I wrote a very honest review about it, but I was just like, I don't understand why this book is so popular because
Yeah.
it drove me bonkers.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm just one reader. Other people liked it, so
Totally,
that's fine.
yeah. Like I'll be
Yeah.
like talking to someone and like be talking about a book that I like because I do like most of the books, but like I'll be talking about a book that I liked and like I was like talking to someone and then they were like, oh well, like does the writing get better? Because like they didn't finish. And I was like, oh well, you got to get to this part, and then it'll be like whatever. And then like they're like, but does the writing get better? And I'm like, I don't know what good writing is anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Hmm.
I thought the writing was great from beginning to end. Like I don't know. What are you talking about? Like I like froze.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I agree. That's totally subjective too. And I don't know that I could really describe that either, what it means for me, but I can just tell, like, when I start a book, I'm like, oh, this author's got it and it's flowing on this book. And other times I'm just like, this is just not working for
Hmm.
me. And it's not the story, but it's just how things are being presented and
Hmm.
shared or whatever.
Totally.
But yeah, I don't know that I could articulate that either.
No,
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like, I feel like some of my favorite authors, like, they have put out books where I'm like listening to it or reading it, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, honestly, this book isn't doing it for me as much as your other books. And it's like everything you're doing is right. You're doing your thing, but I don't know I don't want to say magic, but like, like it's just like, it doesn't. it's not hitting for me at
Yeah.
least, you know, as
Yeah.
well as like your other stuff. And I think that happens, you know.
Yeah. Well, tell me if this is like a pet peeve for you. One of my huge pet peeves is like I look on Goodreads or whatever, and people who give 5 stars to everything, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, really, like, no,
Yeah.
please be, a little more discerning in your
Mhm.
thing, because that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I do give 5 stars to everything. As I do that. Cuz again,
okay, I
I'm
take
part.
that back. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I actually think you're right because like I only give 5 stars to something that I like. Like if it's something that I like inherently like like if I don't like a book or if I kind of like it, I won't do anything. But if I'm like this was the most amazing thing that I've ever read, like 5 stars all the way. Um I'm starting to get like one of my pet peeves is kind of related to that is like kind of like when you're on like I'm gonna like shit on so many people and I'm a podcaster, but when you're on like, you know, publishing lists to leave honest reviews for books and they kind of get pissed at you when you don't leave a 5 star review. There is this pressure, like if you want to get free books, and you're on like the cool like group to leave 5 stars when like maybe a book I sometimes like feel like there were times that I've rated a book 5 stars when I know it was 4 stars, but I rated it 5 stars because I got it for free from this company and they were kind of like I don't know, like it puts like I feel frozen. I had stopped doing
Yeah,
those free reviews because I was just like I mean I love free books, I love free shit, you know, who doesn't? But like I
of
was like
course.
this
Yeah.
was the guilt I'm feeling and the pressure was too much.
I totally agree because I feel like I am like my integrity here is on the line if I'm lying and I didn't want to do that, but I
Hmm.
got this free book, so I'm like, no more. Like, or if I get them on NetGalley, I have no problems being like, nope,
Hmm.
this is how I feel. And if they're not gonna get me another book, oh well. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah. Like whenever I like and like I feel like readers now are probably savvy enough that whenever they're looking at reviews and if they say I got this book for free for leaving an honest review and it's 5 stars, I think right at this point it's kind of like how much can I trust this? You know,
yes,
versus a verified purchase with you know someone who leaves 5 stars. Like then it's like okay, now I know you know whatever.
yes. If I'm really undecided about a book and I look at it and I'm looking up a book and reading reviews, I go right to the 3 stars first because I
Mm,
just want to see like, oh, what are people saying? And if it's the writing or it's just something about a character and I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like you just didn't care for that or you don't like this trope. Well, then why did you read it? Kind of a thing. And then I might pick a few of the higher ones and a few of the lower ones and be like, okay,
mm-hmm.
I'm sort of getting a general sense. I think I'm cool with this. Or if it's all about the writing's terrible, blah 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 blah, then maybe I wouldn't. But I
Totally.
but I
Yeah.
usually start with like the 3 stars. Like, give it to me honest.
That's such a good idea. Cause like I would never buy a book faster than going to the 3 star reviews and having them all be there were too many curse words in this book
Right,
or there
right.
was too much sex in this
The
book.
sex
I'd be
scene
like,
was just there's way too much sex in this book, and I'm like, oh,
bye.
TBR list.
There we go. It's so easy. It's like that's when reviews are helpful.
Yes, thank you so much. You just made my decision easy. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I want to get your final rating on this book. Like we will. I don't rate in stars, but we can. I was thinking we could rate in lobster raviolis. How many lobster raviolis you give this book? I'm like, should I order lobster ravioli for dinner? So 1 out of 5 lobster raviolis means you hated it. 5 out of 5 lobster raviolis means you loved it. How do you rate this book? And you know, share any final thoughts you may have.
I would give it a 4 ravioli star
Mm-hmm.
because I think it like ticked all the boxes and the little things that I, got a little like, weren't like any major crazy things. I felt like I just read it through. It was really easy. I loved all the steaminess. The dirty talk was awesome. So definitely a fun read. Yeah.
I agree. And I was telling you before we recorded, like I feel like this was the first book where it was about two humans having sex in a long time. Like, I've been reading so much paranormal and like monster romance that I was like, oh wow, this is weird. They're like, they both have anatomy that I know, like, So
Yes.
that said, I feel like, on paper, if I saw this book and I'd be like, oh, I would pass it over, like maybe. But I feel like the same with you. Like, all of the stuff that would make me like hesitate to pick up a book, it didn't bother me at all. I loved everything about this book. Like, I just
Nice.
loved the two characters and the sex and the story and the way virginity, I don't know, I just like all of it was like the things I was worried about, like it surpassed my expectations.
Oh, awesome. Because as I was reading it, I'm like, I hope Becky's enjoying this. What did I just,
That's how I feel.
suggest?
That's how I feel whenever like I pick a book, whenever I'm always like, oh, is there a subgenre you want to read? And then someone will give a subgenre, and then I'll find something, and I'll be like, oh my God, do they like this? What do they think? Like, I completely understand that pressure 100%.
But now I can like rest easy. You enjoyed it. Awesome.
I
Yay.
loved it. I thought this was brilliant, and I'm so glad I read it. And it was just like the perfect book to bring humans back into my. No, but it was like the
Yeah.
right amount of like smart and steamy and dirty in a good way,
Right.
and like horny, and it was, I don't know, I really really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yay. Well,
So
and now
thank you for
circle
the
back
rec.
to the other ones and you have to tell me what you think of them.
I know. Yeah, I really want to read. I have to read Colin and be like, okay, will I like you? And then obviously I have to see what happens with the dad. I mean, I'm sure that was a sticky situation.
Yes. Yes. I definitely liked Colin's story better than Troy's story.
Hmm.
But I think I'm gonna have to read the Doctor too. Yeah,
Yeah,
go back
I
and
think
finish it
so.
off.
I think
And
because
then,
I
oh,
like
and we're
Preston.
forgetting the architect. They weren't even in. I don't even
Oh
know who those
yeah,
people are.
yeah.
But there's that one too. So yeah,
Okay, yeah. We have a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of taboos to to break.
we do. Yes, yes. Which is funny because I actually don't read a lot of taboo, but I
Me
mean, here we go.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's like, recommended, or like like there's something about it that seems intriguing. Like, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, like maybe this stepsister situation would be interesting,
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
oh, this is an author I like. They're writing something like this. Of course, yeah.
Right,
It's all
right,
so
exactly.
dependent. I think like there's so many times where like, oh, I'm not into that, but then it's like, yeah, but I like this book and that book and that book. So, you know what? Maybe I like it.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
tell us
So
where we can find you online, where your reviews, what you have coming up. Tell us everything. Promote yourself.
you can find me at shereadsromancebooks.com. And so I've got all the book lists you could possibly want, my reviews on my podcast episodes are there, or on any podcast platform. I love all my book quizzes. If you want some more somewhat personalized book recommendations, people can take a quiz. And then I have my annual romance book reading challenge where we read one romance book a month. Hopefully, I think next week, I don't think I'm going to this week, but next week I'm launching finally a Facebook group for
Oh, awesome.
people to get together and just talk romance, talk recommendations, favorite tropes, all that good stuff. So the She Reads Romance Books Reader Lounge is what everyone agreed on as the name. It's
Love
going to
it.
be launching. And you can also find, I should send you one if you want it.
I would love that. Yeah.
My box of a year of reading romance cards.
Ooh.
It is a box of 52 cards,
Mm-hmm.
and each one has a reading challenge prompt on it, as well
Mm-hmm.
as either a romance trope or a romance category. So if you're kind of like, I'm stuck, I'm in a reading rut, I don't know what I want to read, you just shuffle up your cards, pull one out, and either pick a book based on the reading um, category or trope or the reading challenge,
Mm-hmm.
or use the cards to create your own reading challenge. I don't know. It was really fun to create, and so I sell that card deck too online.
Oh, that sounds awesome, because getting in a rut, getting in a reading slump, that is very real. And, thank you for your service is what I'm saying.
You're welcome. Yeah. And I think it's just a fun way to explore all the genre because, you kind of stay in your lane sometimes. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just a neat way to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to read, Brother's Best Friend this week or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leslie. This was so much fun. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I would love
This,
to have you back.
oh, I would love to. This was a blast. Thank you so much.
For links to purchase the book, you can check out the show notes or visit the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. You can also check out the episode page to see the amazing summary that I wrote for the book. Hey, if you're feeling nice, leave the podcast a review. That would really help me out. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. I hope you have a great rest of your day.